Hi everyone, my name is David Silverberg and I'm the Director of Training here at PracticePanther, and I'm excited to give you an advanced training of our software to show you the best ways to automate your firm and really move it into the 21st century. PracticePanther is the most intuitive, easy to use, and user-friendly software out there, but it's also extremely powerful. Today, we're going to be covering intake forms to automate your client intake process, workflows to automate your tasks for any given type of case, and document templates to automate the population of client information into your personal documents instantly. All right, let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to cover is intake forms. So all you got to do from anywhere on the website, go to More, then click on Intake Forms right here. We're going to go ahead. This is a long list of all the intakes I've done so far. I'm going to hit New Intake Template on the top right. So what we're doing here, the goal here is that we're going to create our own form for maybe the initial client intake, for maybe getting some more information from our clients about the cases that we're about to take, whatever information you would normally need to interview your clients about, take notes on them. You normally have to maybe give them, if they're in office, a clipboard with pen and paper, have them fill out all these questions with chicken scratch, and then you'd have to come and collect that information and input it into the system. What this is going to do, we're going to build the form right here. I'm going to show you, and we'll be able to take that form. It's going to have a website URL, kind of like the link that's up here on the top, and you're going to be able to email this intake form to your clients. You'll be able to put it on your website under a button that says Contact Us for easy lead generation. Or if you have walk-in clients, one thing that our clients actually started doing after this feature was released is putting the link actually on their tablet right there and bookmarking it on the browser on their tablet. And then anytime a client walks in, they just hand them the tablet instead of handing them a clipboard and pen. And this is the coolest part. No matter how anyone submits this form, whether it's from home because you email them the link, whether it's from the website directly because they clicked on the Contact Us link that you provided, or if it's in the office right there on the tablet, no matter who submits this form, the form will come back to PracticePanther and literally create the contact for you if you want it to, and submit all the answers on the form into the contact, populating fields for you. So you're going to be saving countless hours each week, not only in having to input the information and read your client's handwriting, but this is going to happen passively if you put it on your website. So you're going to come into the office every other day or so and have new clients already in PracticePanther ready to go. All right, so we're going to start building the form. All we're going to do is very intuitive. Literally just drag whatever you're interested in from the left section here to the right. And then you're going to use the blue pencil up here to actually edit that information. So I'm just going to call it New Client Intake, as I plan on putting this on my website, let's say. I can name it whatever I want, really. I'm going to go ahead and give it a description. Now, this description line is actually pretty versatile. You could leave it blank if you just want to create some white space. You could use a line like this all the way across if you wanted to create line spacing. You could go ahead and type in contact info or case info, whatever you want in this section to be able to section off the intake form into different pieces. Or what I like to do is give my clients direction. So please fill this form out completely. Give us a call if you run into any questions. And you can put your firm's phone number, your personal cell phone number, whatever you want, so you can get direct contact from anyone in need. Next up, the very first thing you're going to want to include on almost all of your intake forms are two regular text lines. Now, these text lines are probably going to be the most popular field that you put on here because it's just a text box for your client to fill out, very easy to use. And the reason we're going to use two, one is going to be for the client's first name, and the other one's going to be for last name. And we're going to want to make these required because this is what the form will need at least to be able to create a contact on PracticePanther. Anytime you see the placeholder for one of these types of fields, this is just asking you if you want to give some kind of hint or something to your client so they can see an example of what you expect them to write. Go ahead and make another one here for our last name. And I'm building this in real time in front of you, and you're going to see just how quickly I get through this. So Smith, and then from there, it's whatever else you are interested in. So I'm sure most of you are going to want your client's mobile number, and you can make that required, so they have to fill it out. And I'm sure you might want their email address, so you can make it required, so they have to fill it out. If you catch my my drift here, it's going to make it very easy and impossible for them to miss out on any information you would want from them. And maybe you want to get a little bit more information about their case. So we'll say something, we'll give them the text multi-line here, just to give them like a paragraph of spacing. We're going to say, briefly describe your situation, whatever they are contacting you for. And anything else, literally the skies are the limits. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is anytime you have these types of fields where you're giving your client multiple choices, you're going to notice there's a choice on the left, and for that same choice, there's a choice on the right, the same information. So what's this for? What's it really doing? So I'm going to use a very basic example here. Let's just say for my firm, I liked to provide some kind of, maybe some reward or something silly, like ice cream when they come into the office, something crazy like that. I don't know. But just a random example, I'm going to use favorite ice cream. Maybe I just want to know my clients better on a personal level. So what's your favorite ice cream flavor? So I'm going to write chocolate. I'm going to write vanilla. And then on the right side, I'm going to put what information I want to bring into PracticePanther when these options are selected. So in other words, the left side is what your client is going to see on the intake form, and the right side is what information is going to actually come in to PracticePanther when these options are selected. Now, most of the time, you will probably just copy and paste the information from left to right. But some firms, for some choices, maybe they want a custom code to come through or an abbreviation. So instead of vanilla, I'm going to write vanilla for short. So you have that option for you if you want to have different information coming in. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go down now. I'm just going to name this intake form webinar, so I know which one to use. And I can have this form set to automatically create a task when the form comes in and the contact is created. The task will be attached to this client and assigned to whichever person I want. And that task is simply going to say, hey, follow up with this guy. We got a new client. Next, I can also get an email notification sent to either or any people or persons from my firm. And that's just going to be a quick email. As soon as someone hits submit on that form, you get an email letting you know. I'm going to hit submit here. And this is actually step 1. This is step 2 over here. This is where the magic really happens. So you're going to see we have our questions on the form here on the left. And on the right, we actually have every field on PracticePanther, including any custom fields your firm may have made, like date of birth, date retained. These are fields that I made. So all I'm going to do is match up the questions on the left with the fields on PracticePanther on the right so that the form knows where to place this information. It's very quick and easy. Just type in what you're looking for. Contact first name. See how intuitive it is. Last name. Now, if you are at this stage and you realize, wait a minute, I don't have a field for favorite ice cream flavor. It's not here. Where do I put that? What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new tab. And we're going to hop over to my custom fields. Right here, I'm going to create a new contact field called favorite ice cream flavor. And I'm going to leave it as a text box because the text box is the easiest thing for information to populate into. I don't always need this to be visible. Maybe I don't need that for every single client of mine. And I'm going to save this field. So I basically just created a new home for those answers. I'm just going to refresh this page so that that new home is an option in my columns. And then I'm going to quickly go through this. And you can see how easy it is. Last name, mobile, email. Now, I don't exactly have a field for their situation. I could go make a custom field, but I do have contact notes as a native field. Everyone has this. So this is usually where I would put that. And ice cream. So see, this wasn't here before, and I just made it, and there it is as an option. So the form itself can actually do a couple of things. First, probably most commonly, you're going to have it set to create a contact if it gets filled out. You could have it set to create a matter. However, I typically would advise against this if it's going to go on your website as a form of lead generation, because just because a client, or rather a person, fills out this form and we get that contact information, we're not necessarily taking that case yet. We haven't talked to them. We're not sure yet. So we don't necessarily want a matter filled out just for every single person that fills out this form. But if I want to create a second or third form that's just for creating a matter after I've decided to take the case, I can use this form to get the contact information and then maybe have a second form that I email them later once I decide to take the case saying, hey, please fill out this information so I can get started working for your case. Now down here, we're going to see we can actually have it set to update an existing contact if needed. Let's say a year down the line, we want to make sure we have all the right phone number, best phone number still, best email address, things of that nature. And I can also have it update an existing matter as well. I'm just going to click link fields because I simply want this to create a contact for me. And now to actually use the intake form, anytime I want to use it, just hit that white new button on the top of your screen that's located on every single page of the software in the same spot, and hit intake form right here. You're going to pick the form you want to use for a given situation. So I'm going to use the intake form webinar. And you can just jump right down here if this is your initial intake form and grab this link. This is the link that you can go ahead and email to your client, put it under a button called Contact Us, or bookmark it on your tablet or iPad for your office visits. You can also hit the embed button here to directly embed it on a certain page of your website, which basically just means literally placing the form itself on, let's say, your home page or your About Me page, instead of having a button that would go to it. Now, up here we have contact and matter. So if this is the first time I'm potentially speaking with a certain client and I don't have a contact in here, then I'm actually going to leave these blank. They're not mandatory, because anytime I select a contact here, it will change this link down here. That's how the software is going to know and keep track of if you've associated this form with an existing contact or matter. You'd really only have to use the contact field up here if this was a matter collecting intake form that you wanted to tell PracticePanther who to associate that matter with when the form comes back. Or if the form was set to update contact information, whose contact information should it update when it comes back, etc. So what I'm going to do though, let's say you're speaking to a less tech-savvy client and maybe they don't even have email. You don't want to send them anything. You don't want to bombard them. Maybe you're talking to them over the phone and maybe you want to fill it out for them. You can go ahead and hit continue instead to actually fill it out yourself. Now, just so you know, the client, when they are using that link, they won't see the sidebar here. They won't see the blue bar up here on top. They're just going to see this big white bar, and instead of the words PracticePanther, this is actually the logo that I put here, but they'll just see your firm's logo, whatever it is. The firm, the form rather, is going to look like it is coming directly from your firm. So we're going to go ahead and fill some of this out. Let's go ahead and name this one after, let's go with Nicholas Smith. Why not? That sounds cool. And the phone number, we're just going to put the generic 555, same number of the firm up there. Pretty interesting. And the email address, we're just going to, again, give our help email address. If you ever need any help, by the way, by our support team, if you have questions, issues, concerns, email this address or hit the bubble on the bottom right anytime to contact our support directly, okay? Now, briefly describe your situation. So my client will fill out something like, I need a divorce, whatever the situation might be. They're going to let you know. And of course, they're going to let you know that the favorite flavor is chocolate, because why not? I am not a robot. So your client typically will have to then pick between a couple of pictures that all have cars or storefronts or signs. And this is designed to make sure that no one can maliciously get a hold of this link and spam your PracticePanther account with contacts or matters. So this is really doing a great job of protecting you, but it is still easy for anyone to be able to go through and get through that. So again, anytime anyone hits submit from whether it's online, from home, whatever, you'll get an email if it's set to email you, and you're going to get a notification on the top right instantaneously. When I click on this notification, I can click on the actual notification to take me directly to this brand new contact that theoretically I didn't have to fill out or touch at all. Maybe I came into work Monday morning and there was this notification with 1 or 5 new clients that I can now contact. The information's all logged right here for you. So you have the email address, what they're contacting you for, the favorite flavor of chocolate or ice cream, their phone number. It even gets its own unique tag so that if I wanted to, I could go to my contacts list and see how many clients. Hold on, let me let it load for you. I want to see how many clients I received from the intake form webinar. And it's going to show me exactly how many clients I got from that intake form. So I can see how effective it's been. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And this is, again, the contacts page. So you'll see we already have an activity waiting for us. And this is that task that I mentioned before, reminding us to follow up with the client. So I'll go ahead and mark this complete for now. You also have the intake form itself listed under the intake tab. And this is just the form as it was filled out, whatever they put in, and this gives you the information and lets you download it, print it out, edit it, share it with the client, whatever you got to do. That is intake form. So remember, if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know in the question box for sure. Moving forward, we're going to go on to my personal favorite feature on PracticePanther, workflows. Workflows is going to give you the ability to automate all of the step-by-step processes that you want to go through or you want your firm to go through for every single type of case that you might come across. As you can see, I have a divorce workflow, litigation workflow, personal injury workflow. Whatever type of case you handle, you can make its own workflow for that type of case. So we're going to be automating and making sure that we have the same 15 steps get taken every time a divorce case comes up. This way, I can make sure that, first of all my colleagues are following the same exact steps. No one has to waste time creating these tasks for every single case. No one has to waste time thinking about what to do next. No one has to waste time thinking about when to get things done by. You're going to set all that framework up in these workflows, and then everyone in your firm is going to be following the same steps with one click. So let's go ahead and make a brand new workflow. I can show you how this works. So workflow name this after the type of case or the situation you'll be in. So we're going to say divorce without kids, for example. It might be a specific situation. You might have different steps for that divorce case versus others. The first thing you're going to do for every workflow is create at least one event. We're probably only going to have one event for most of your workflows, and I want you to think of this as the milestone, the big point in the case that you either want to work away from, that you can start working from, or that you want to work toward, like a final trial date, for example. Most of the cases, you will be able to start working the minute you retain the client. In some cases, you may have to wait to receive some kind of documentation. So we can make this initial step here, received, I spelled that wrong, of course, received initial documentation, whatever was necessary, right? Whatever it was for you or your firm or that situation. Once you have your initial or final event here, you're going to go down and hit New Task. And these are the actual steps to completing the case. So let's say after I received my initial documentation for this divorce case, I need to get that retainer agreement signed. After I decide what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick a due date to be automatic, a certain number of business days or days if I want to work on the weekends, before or after that milestone event. So I'm going to pick after because I want to work away from that point, and I want to get this done within 3 business days. Now keep in mind, these are ballpark due dates. Okay, so when you apply this workflow, it's going to create all these tasks as individual tasks. So even if you wanted to, you'd be able to complete a task early. You'd be able to edit a task and push the due date back later if you were late to getting it done. Whatever you got to do. This is just the general guideline you would like your firm to follow. Create another task. So step 2, I got the retainer signed, and now I'm going to, draft complaint. Exactly. Whatever it is, I got to do next, a new due date. And this one, I want this one to happen exactly 1 day after I retained the client or got them to sign that retainer agreement. So if I want this to be 1 day after this, I actually have to make the due date the number 4. Because again, we're always referring to the days after the initial event here. So this one happened 3 days after, and then a day later we have this task. Let's just do one final one. And this one is going to just be set up mediation between spouses. The fun part, right? So automatic, I need this to happen within the first, we'll say 14 days. Within the first 2 weeks, we have to at least get this mediation scheduled. Now, I'm going to save this for right now, but you can imagine we've had 15 tasks here, 20 tasks here, whatever the case is. I could always come back to this workflow when I realize I forgot something and add more to it for future cases. So you'll always have the freedom to come back and add more to your workflows later on. Now that I have my workflow, I'm going to go to my new contact using the search bar. I'm going to search Nicholas Smith right there. And now that I'm here in the contact, I'm going to use the workflow by hitting the new button on the top right, our best friend button. And we're going to go and hit apply workflow right there on the bottom. Now, this workflow here, we're going to pick which one we want to use. I don't want just a divorce workflow. I want divorce without kids. And then apply workflow. When you go to apply the workflow, it's going to ask you for a date that this took place. So put whenever you initially received that documentation, and then move on down, and you'll see each of your tasks with their automatic due dates in place. All you got to do, if you want to, assign them out and delegate the work out to different people. And if you've invited your client to the client portal, you can actually assign specific tasks directly to your client if needed. Let's say something you want them to do, like we're signing the retainer agreement, for example. We're going to go down and save. Now it's going to create a long list of tasks here. So we have our initial event, when it happened, and every task and their due date and when they need to get done by right here. All lined up. I didn't have to think about what to do or when to do it. Every time I have a divorce case without kids, I'm going to use this same workflow and one click have my entire life cycle of the case written out. Now, let's say something crazy happens and I have 20 tasks and I forgot to assign one of my colleagues here. I can actually go ahead and check off these tasks, hit the gear, and hit edit to batch edit any of these things that I want to edit about this task list. So in this case, I want to assign Thomas Jefferson and unassign me. Oops. But in one click, I understand. In one click, I'll be updating the assigned people on these tasks. Instead of being DS, you'll see it on the right side here, it's going to turn into TJ, just like that. Awesome. So those are the workflows. Next up on our list, we're going to go ahead and cover templates. So this is probably the feature that paralegals have thanked me the most for. because they spend hours on hours each week repetitively creating the same documents, replacing the client's information every single time they have to make a retainer agreement. They'll go ahead and replace the first name, the last name, the phone number, the email, everything about the client into every document every time. It's tedious. It's annoying. I wish there was a software that could do it, but wait, here we are. So what we're going to do is go down here. On the bottom of this page, we're going to see Contact Matter User. If I click on Contact, it's going to reveal all available fields right now that we have on PracticePanther for our contacts, including any custom fields that we have made in the past, including our favorite ice cream flavor. There you go. This just goes to show that you'll be able to go ahead and customize any kind of personal information, any kind of information you care about having in your documents by creating custom fields. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just going to open up my Word document here. And let's say I want to go ahead and pull in the client's information. I'm going to draft a quick way to update our client's information. So dear blank, right? Dear name. Just emailing you to make sure we have all contact information as up to date as possible. Please review the below information to ensure we have the best means of contacting you. So we'll put, let's say, phone number, email, favorite ice cream flavor, for example, whatever it is. And I'm going to go to PracticePanther, back to my codes. I'm just going to grab my first name code right here. And these are the codes we're going to copy and paste into our Word document to act as placeholders. So dear, and when I paste it, I don't want to just do a regular paste, because if I do, it's going to be gray and a little bit fat like the text is on PracticePanther. What I want to do is I want it to match my text. So space, right click. Let's see where the paste option is on here. So I'm going to edit, paste special. That's where it is, right under edit. Sometimes you'll see it by right clicking. You'll see paste special. Depending on your computer, the version of Word that you have, you just got to find it. But I'm going to click paste special there and do unformatted text. So it's going to match the exact font that I already have in that spot on my document. So dear first name, I also want last name. So dear first name, last name. Edit, paste special, unformatted text. I also saw you can actually do paste and match, paste and match formatting right there. Just the same thing. Either one of those will work. Now I want to get the phone number. So I'm going to go down to mobile number, copy, edit, paste and match formatting. Nope, not that one. Just kidding, guys. We will go ahead and just keep paste special, unformatted. And back here, let's do email address right here. And I'm building this all in real time. Oh, there, now it appears. Paste special. And ice cream flavor. Where's that one? Favorite ice cream. And okay, you don't want to do it there. That's fine. It may sometimes, I think it's Mac sometimes just does it where like it picks when it wants to work or when it doesn't. My personal opinion. All right. So a couple of rules about these codes. Not too much. The spacing like this, the capitalization rather, needs to be exact. If I were to have this, the code will not work. So we'll want to make sure that it's exactly the same. The spelling has to be the same. Even the spaces between the words, it can't be like this. It has to be exactly like the field is on PracticePanther. As long as you're copying and pasting those codes over from the site, you'll be good to go. Now, while you can't change the spelling or the spacing or the caps, you can change the formatting. So if I want, let's say, this to be in bold, I want this to be underlined, and I want this to be in italics. So we can go ahead and do that. We can change the font size, the style of it, whatever you want to do to the text you can do. If you do want it to come out in caps, like you want the full first name to be all in capitalizations, capital letters, then you're going to go ahead and make sure that is the case inside of PracticePanther. So when it pulls it out, it does pull it out in caps. So I'm done here with the letter. I'm going to hit File, Save As, and we're just going to go ahead and save it on my desktop for now. Don't mind that. Test webinar and save. Now I'm going to go back to PracticePanther. We're going to go up here and hit New Document Template. Now that we're done with the document, we have all the codes in the right place, we're going to upload it for future use. So you see, I spent that amount of time. It was about the same amount of time you would have taken to fill out the actual client's information into there. However, I spent the time one time, so that never again do I have to do it myself. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. We'll say something like webinar template, and I'm going to go ahead and pick it from my desktop. Desktop, test webinar, and save. Now that I have it on PracticePanther, I'm again going to go to my friend Nicholas, hop right into his contact, hit New, and Apply Template. Pick whatever template I want to use for that situation. And if I have matter codes in the template, I want to pick which matter I want to pull that information from. I'm going to hit Download. And right here, it gave me a brand new document, replacing all the information, rather all the codes with the actual client's information for me, underlining what I want, italicizing what I want, and bolding what I want. All right, so that ends everything. But before we open it for questions, I do want to show you our training video page. It's right here, practicepanther.com/training-videos. You can come here anytime you want to learn more about any of our features and scroll down, see what you like best and what you want more help with. You can also, on PracticePanther, anytime you do have questions, hit the question mark right up here and visit our Help Center. Same idea. You can actually go ahead and see all of the articles, videos, tips, and tricks that we have for you on pretty much every feature of the software. And if you can't find the information you're looking for there or still need a little help, you can reach out to our support team anytime on the bottom right or by emailing us at help@practicepanther.com. We kind of boast a 20 to 30-minute response time during business hours, and we guarantee at least a 24-hour response time on the weekends as well. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and open it up for questions. I do see that a few have come in, but we've only got a couple of minutes left. So I'm going to do my best to cover as many as I can. If I can't cover your question for whatever reason, do not worry. We'll email you the answer after this webinar. You can also call 800-856-8729 or email help@practicepanther.com or just send us the message using that bottom right bubble there as well. Let me go ahead and close out of that. That is actually me talking to me. That's pretty funny. All right, so our first question looks like it's going to be from Marks asking, what if I want to apply the same workflow to many cases? Do I have to apply each one manually? Amazing question. Actually, no. That used to be the case, but we offer a lot of updates that come out often. And one of those updates that we actually came out with somewhat recently, you can go ahead and select any number of contacts or matters and apply workflow just like that. Works the same way. It's great, great question. Looks like Jennifer says, oh, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say how much I love PracticePanther so far. I can't wait to create my first intake form. I can't wait for you to create it either. Feel free to email it to me or email it to help@PracticePanther. We'll fill it out, see how it looks, and give you any tips we can on it. And David, nice name, says, do I need to go ahead and download anything for any of these things to work? No. So all of this is completely yours. All the advanced features come with your subscription. There's no extra packages or this or that. You have these features right now on your PracticePanther account. Just go to the More button right here, and you'll be able to get started right away as soon as we end this webinar. Well, that is all the time we have, but I promise we will email you the answers within the next 24 hours. Thank you so much for watching this webinar. If you'd like additional training, feel free to go to practicepanther.com/training to schedule one, and we'll be happy to give you this advanced training personally for your firm to help you build your first document templates, intake forms, workflows. We can also go over the client portal where you can invite your clients to get a little bit more interaction with them that way, and go over QuickBooks Online integration. We have custom reporting, calendar rules with automated deadline calculations, and of course, much, much more. That's it for today. Take care, and I'll speak to you again soon.